How's it going out there, everyone? W.F.S, your doctor here today. And it looks like one of the writers over there at Screen Rant has a belief about one of the James Bond movies on Her Majesty's Secret Service. The author of this particular article here, Mr. Todd Gilchrist, has the belief that On Her Majesty's Secret Service is the greatest Bond film of all and has asked people to prove him wrong. Hi, I'm Todd Gilchrist, Screen Rant's movies and music deputy editor. I've always pursued media and entertainment as a journalist or as a master of none. But James Bond is a film series that I've developed a more intimate knowledge of than some others. When I was offered the opportunity to champion this greatest entry in the franchise, the immediate and only choice was On Her Majesty's Secret Service. If for some reason you don't agree with this obviously correct opinion, please let me know in the comment section below defending your choice. Her Majesty's Secret Service is definitely a good story. The script is solid, the acting is brilliantly done. George Lazenby does a decent job playing James Bond. And honestly, the first time I saw the movie, I thought he looked really good, almost, at least in my opinion, identical to Sean Connery. And the one scene that really sold it was absolutely at the beginning of it, when he just saved the girl from the bad guys on the beach and she takes off in a car and he turns and says, "This never happened to the other fella." That right there says to me that we were in for a good story. An interesting fact that you may not be aware of is that halfway through the filming of the movie, Lazenby was offered, because they liked the way he was portraying the character, Lazenby was offered a 7-movie deal, a 7 films movie deal as Bond. But this is where it gets really dumb. Lazenby's agent felt that the character of James Bond was dying out and that Lazenby would be stuck in a typecasted role of a character that wouldn't be relevant soon. So he turned down the role. Silly him, right? One thing that this movie definitely deserves credit for was its theme music. It was the first time in the movie's history that no singing was done. It was just orchestra, and it was actually a beautiful piece of music. Now, as I said, it's a good movie, but it's definitely not a great one. And I'm going to tell you right now why.
Allow me to introduce myself. I am Ernst Stavro Blofeld.
Todd, here's the problem that I have with your claim that On Her Majesty's Secret Service is the best Bond film ever. Well, it goes back to the clip that I just showed. You Only Live Twice, where Blofeld and Bond meet each other face to face at the volcano. So if Bond knows and Blofeld knows what each other looks like, then how could they not have seen each other, recognized each other On Her Majesty's Secret Service? Now, if you look at this scene very carefully, we have Telly Savalas playing Blofeld and James Bond right here. Yet when you look at Bond from previous scenes in the movie, he has not changed anything about his facial features. The only thing that is different is his accent. In this scene right here, we have Blofeld revealing himself to Bond.
Merry Christmas, 007.
I'm Sir Hilary Bragg.
Oh, no, Mr. Bond. Respectable baronets from the College of Heralds do not seduce female patients in clinics. On the other hand, they do get their professional details right. The Beauchamp tombs are not in the Augsburg Cathedral, as you said, but in the St. Anna Kirche.
The fact that Bond thinks that he can pull off this charade without anyone recognizing him is unbelievable. And the fact that Blofeld lets him get away with it is unbelievable. The minute Bond walked into that room, Blofeld should have dealt with him immediately. Now, I said before it was a good movie. I'm sorry. It is not a great movie. It is not the best movie in the Bond franchise. Now to the challenge. Which one of these Bond movies is the best one? That really is a hard thing for me to answer right there, because each person, each actor has brought something to the character And it's a hard question to ask. First of all, Sean Connery will always be the best James Bond. Really. He always will be. And if I had to pick the best movies from each actor who's played the role, then for me, Sean Connery would win with Goldfinger. Goldfinger happens to be the best Sean Connery Bond film as far as I'm concerned. But that wasn't the question that was asked, was it? The question is, which is the greatest Bond film? And that really is a hard choice for me. And right off the bat, I'm going to rule out Daniel Craig. Because as much as so many people love the man for playing Bond, I have never seen a person more sourpussed about playing a character than Daniel Craig's version of James Bond. I've hardly ever saw the character laugh or smile or enjoy himself. He always seemed mopey all the time. So I'm going to rule out Daniel Craig's Bond films right from the get-go. So that leaves us with Sean Connery, George Lazenby, Roger Moore, Timothy Dalton, and Pierce Brosnan. Well, I'm sorry, George, you're getting the axe because you only did the role one time, and I have to consider you an anomaly in the whole franchise. So, on Her Majesty's Secret Service has been axed. And now, if we're going to talk about Roger Moore's version of James Bond, I have to say that there are problems because after a while, the character and the movies got a little cartoonish. While the Jaws character was very popular, it just got too silly after a while. The idea that this character could fall from airplanes without parachutes or survive a trolley car crash like this is just unbelievable. The movies just got too ridiculous. So it's quite obvious Roger Moore is out. That just leaves Sean Connery, Timothy Dalton, and Pierce Brosnan. And I know this one is going to shock some of you. Sean Connery will always be the gold standard in James Bond. He brought the character to life. He introduced him to the world in the filming industry. But that doesn't mean to me that his movies were the best. In the Connery era, Goldfinger was the best. But in my opinion, there is one movie in the entire thing, in the entire series, that definitely is the best one. Now, I know this is going to upset a lot of you out there, but License to Kill is actually the best James Bond movie. And let me explain to you why. This story for me is the best James Bond film of all, is because it broke the mold. It wasn't a story about Bond coming up against Blofeld or somebody trying to rule the world or poison the world through orbital bombardment of some rose petals or something. It was Bond seeking vengeance for the brutal murder of his best friend and his new fiancée. Felix and his wife Della. Della was raped and murdered. Felix lost one of his legs. Sanchez was a monster of a drunk lord, and he had to be stopped. And Bond wasn't going to get any help from the United States, and he wasn't going to get help from England, so he took it upon himself to seek vengeance, and he was rightfully so to do it. And the way he went about his vengeance, I honestly thought was so brilliant. And honestly, I have to believe that this scene right here is probably the best one in a way of disposing of a villain's henchman that I have ever seen coming out of a Bond movie. While it was quick, it was probably one of the most disgusting ones to ever be filmed, and it was just nasty. If there's only one thing wrong with this movie, it's this scene right here. This isn't a Bond gadget. Some way, somehow, this truck is able to perform something that no other truck has ever been able to do. And I think that just took away from the film. With the exception of that one scene, this movie is solid. It's great. And because it is completely different from any of the other Bond films that came before it, it is a masterpiece as far as I'm concerned. So, tell me what you think. What is the best Bond film ever? Drop those comments below and let me know. Until the next time, my friends, God bless.